the invisible thing killing your relationship that nobody talks about. Your relationship is dying and you don't know why. You're not fighting more than usual. You're not in crisis. There's no affair, no betrayal, no obvious breaking point. You're just drifting slowly, quietly, imperceptibly moving further apart until one day you'll look at each other and you realize you're strangers who share a mortgage and a last name. Here's what's killing your relationship. You've both stopped choosing each other. Somewhere along the way, your partnership went from being a conscious choice to being an automatic obligation. You stay together because you're supposed to, because you've built a life, because leaving feels harder than staying. But you're not actively, daily, deliberately choosing that individual anymore, and they feel it. You're staying out of loyalty instead of love. And there's a massive difference. Loyalty says, I'll stay because I promised. Love says, I stay because even with all your flaws and my flaws and our complicated history, I still want you. Loyalty is noble, but it's not enough. Because when someone knows they're being tolerated rather than being chosen, something essential in them dies and in the relationship. You've replaced presence with obligation. You're doing all the right things, showing up for family dinners, managing the household together, being polite to each other, fulfilling your roles, but you're not actually there. Not really. You're going through the motions of partnership while your spirit is somewhere else entirely. And that absence, that energetic withdrawal, is more painful than any argument. You're both performing connection instead of feeling it. You've learned exactly what a good relationship is supposed to look like, and you're checking all the boxes: date nights, communication, quality time, but it all feels hollow because you're doing these things to prove you're trying, not because you genuinely want to connect. You're performing love instead of living it. You've stopped being curious about each other. When was the last time that you asked your partner a question you didn't already know the answer to? When's the last time you discovered something new about them? You've decided you know everything there is to know, and in that decision, you've turned them into a static character instead of a constantly evolving human being. And the mystery is gone, and with it, the vitality. You're keeping score. Who did more? Who tried harder? Who compromised more? Who's been hurt more? You're tracking every imbalance, every slight, every disappointment, building a case for why you're the good one and they are the problem. And every tally mark that you make is another brick in the wall between you. You've confused safety with stagnation. You wanted a relationship where you could finally relax, finally stop performing, finally feel secure, and you got it. But somewhere along the way, safe became static. Comfortable became complacent. And now you're both so afraid of disrupting the peace that you've stopped being real with each other. You're choosing predictability over passion, stability over truth. The invisible thing that's actually killing your relationship is this: you've stopped growing. Not as individuals. You might both be evolving beautifully on your own, but together, you're stuck. You've found a way of being with each other that works just well enough that you never have to risk anything, never have to be vulnerable, never have to change, and a relationship that isn't growing is dying. Slowly, invisibly, but definitely. Here's what will bring it back to life: choosing each other again. Not once, every single day. Waking up and deciding, today, I choose this individual. Not because I have to, not because it's too hard to leave them, but because even with everything That's hard and complicated and imperfect. I want them. Bringing presents back, putting down your phone, turning off the TV, looking at them, actually seeing them, being in your body instead of in your head, letting yourself feel something again instead of just coexisting, getting curious again, ask real questions, sharing real answers, letting yourself be surprised by those questions and answers, remembering that they're not a fixed object. They're a living, changing, growing human who might actually still be interesting if you bothered to notice. Dropping the scoreboard, forgiving the past, releasing the resentment, choosing to see them fresh right now without the weight of everything they've ever done wrong sitting between you. When I look back at the period in when my relationship felt most dead, I realize now that Gary and I were both there, physically present and emotionally absent, going through every motion of partnership while our spirits were in completely different places. We weren't fighting, we weren't in crisis, we were just not there. And the moment that started to change wasn't when we fixed our problems. It was when I looked at him one morning and consciously chose him again. Not because I had to, not because I'd promised, but because I wanted to. That single choice, that return to active love instead of passive loyalty, changed everything. Your relationship isn't dead, it's just waiting for you both to choose it again.